Hey, what's up everybody? Rob here from Ram Studio Comics. Welcome back. So in today's video, I've got a thumbnail here that I roughed out and I want to talk about the refinement of it and kind of things I think that are important about using thumbnails. So some of the benefits basically. So sometimes I'll get in the habit of just drawing out a character and then adding another character and maybe some background elements. And so I just kind of pinball around until I get a scene, right? And I think that can be dangerous, or at least, not really the most effective way to create. I think the best way is really if you thumbnail the whole concept in a very rough sketch. Okay, so I'm talking under like 2 minutes. And the benefits of that are that you're not thinking about any level of refinement yet. You just rough it out. You're thinking about composition. You're thinking about poses. You're thinking about gesture in the pose, energy of the pose, things like that, energy of the scene. And the really great thing is that you're able to get so much of that down so quickly that you could draw out, say, 5 different sketches and maybe pull an idea from each one if there's something important from each one that you can incorporate. Or maybe sometimes you get the best idea in the first one, or all of it in one sketch. It doesn't matter, but it's really neat to get as much of that on the page and then kind of go, okay, I like this idea, I don't like that idea, and then start to refine the work. Now, the other neat thing that I think you find by thumbnailing is that it's really great for collaboration efforts. So if you're working with another artist, it's always best to thumbnail and rough sketch some ideas. You don't want to really do finished pieces of artwork and then submit it to the project, because then you're almost a little too committed to the concept and the time that you put into it. And then people may say, no, we don't like that. That's not really where we want to take it. And it's a collaboration effort. So you need to, be ready to change your ideas and work with others well, of course. So thumbnailing is fantastic for that. In fact, I recommend, I do that every time I work with another artist or I work with a group of people. I start with rough sketches. The rougher, the better. It's kind of amazing, too. You realize how well people can perceive through rough sketches. Even if you're not the greatest artist, it seems to work out well. I had times when doing storyboards when people would send me their sketch and they're like, well, I'm not an artist, but amazingly enough, it still helped to convey the idea that they were after, and the project always went smoother when that happened. It's why whenever I work with anybody now, I always start with thumbnails. I always start with the rough sketch, because I can make sure that they understand what I'm saying, that we're on the same page, that we agree. It even gives you a bit of a paper trail in an art form. So there's all sorts of benefits to why it really helps to just rough sketch the ideas. And again, keep them very loose and very energetic in the beginning. One of the things that happens as you start to tighten up the work, you lose some of the energy that you start with an initial rough sketch. So knowing that, you want to keep the rough sketch very loose, very energetic, and then try to retain some of that as you tighten up the work. Now, another thing I think is very important about doing this is that you're staging the work, okay? So you're segmenting the work into, I always say like digestible chunks of the work, which sounds kind of weird, but essentially, instead of like jumping in and saying, well, I just feel inspired, I'm going to draw this amazing piece of art because, I'm just an artist and that's what artists do, I think that's the wrong kind of way to go about it, because there's those days, like I always talk about, you're just not feeling as inspired or as creative, but you still got to produce the stuff. And if you love it, you're going to do it anyways, but you want to do it to the best of your ability. Staging the work is very important in that regard. So like, having the ability to draw through the work and say, I'm just going to rough it out. Okay, I got the rough the way I want. Now I'm just going to clean up maybe the characters. Okay, I got that. Now I'm going to clean up the background. I'm going to adjust any imperfections I see in the perspective. Okay, now I got that. And then going right down the list and finalizing the work, getting it ready for inks and color if you're doing all of it yourself. I think that's very important to be realistic about all that, because if not, you may sit around and just have a sketchbook full of a bunch of uncompleted, artwork. And although you may have the best intention going in and you may have some pretty neat sketches, you look at your portfolio and go, well, how many completed pieces have I made in the past year? 2, or whatever the number is. So, but if you go into it segmenting the work and properly doing it in stages, basically, I think that you're a lot more likely to be able to get through complex scene creation and make something that, not only that you complete in a reasonable amount of time, but it's going to look more impressive because you didn't just kind of pinball around and do whatever came to mind. You actually went in with a game plan and you knocked it out that way. I don't know a lot of people that draw for like the big book titles, but I would imagine that's their workflow. If not, I don't know how they would complete a book. So I also think it's very important to simplify where you can. I kind of did that with the background here. And again, that's where rough sketching is important as well, because you can also look at it as a whole and go, okay, where can I simplify? Maybe I can make the characters more detailed, but the background a little bit more with basic shapes. Or maybe the character up close has more detail and the one in the background doesn't need as much. They're more in shadow, whatever. So you can really work out all those ideas in your rough sketch. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'd love to know what you think in the comments section below. More content is on the way, so please subscribe. And as always, keep drawing, keep having fun, and I will talk to you soon.